We ran the numbers, and it appears 7 on your side and D.C. police are making a difference. Jonathan, let's start with one guy who a lot of people have probably seen on social media for the last 24 hours. Who is he? Well, we know that he likes to wear a lot of body paint and a buffalo hat. Since our original investigation first aired in May, thefts from autos in this district, the 2nd district, have decreased by 24% compared to last year. If you look across the city in Washington, D.C., we've seen a 16% decrease.
Virginia. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much,
Governor. I would like to ask one question. I want to ask you about Loudoun County. Why are you not allowing us to ask a question? You deliberately didn't allow 7 News to ask a question. Why is that? Can you explain to me why you did that? Excuse me, I'm Scott Taylor with WJLA. Can you tell me why you're dumping recycling in with the regular garbage?
Recycling is recycling. It's all recycle right there.
No, it isn't. We saw you come by about a half hour ago and dump the garbage. Nope, we saw you sitting over there with the same truck. This is the same truck. No problem. So tell me why you're doing that. Why should people recycle when you're dumping it all in the landfill? Can you tell me why? Can you stop for a second? We tracked down Gerald Griffith in Bowie, Maryland. Like to talk about the National Harbor? You available? No. Can you tell me what you did at the National Harbor? We'd like to talk to you. Just answer a couple questions. If you're working for the police department, why do I need to talk? Well, can I come in? I don't know why you're blocking me.
I'm not.
You know, you wrote a $250 ticket to a man who was only eating lunch. Did you know that? Well, I'd like to talk to you. You're the one who's writing the tickets.
Oh, it's 11:45. He's getting out right now.
You're watching 5th District Commander William Fitzgerald stepping out of a D.C. police patrol car onto 11th Street in Northwest D.C. This late at night, you might think he's headed to an emergency or active crime scene, but he's not.
Yeah, that's him.
He walks right into Sally's. It's a bar. On 5 nights during a 2-week period, 7 News Undercover tracked Fitzgerald using either patrol cars or an unmarked city-owned SUV to catch a ride from his apartment to a bar and back again. Inside Sally's, our cameras caught the commander drinking beers and shots on multiple nights.
I drank too much tonight.
On most nights, he leaves the bar around 1:30 in the morning.
I got a ride coming.
You guessed it. Depending on what's available, a patrol car or an unmarked SUV takes him back to his apartment. He's in charge of the 5th District, which over the past 2 years has seen a rise in violent crimes, including stolen vehicles and sex assaults. It also recorded the 3rd highest number of murders in D.C. Hi, Commander Fitzgerald. Scott Taylor, 7 News. Can you tell me why you're having patrol cars drop you off and pick you up at bars?
No, we just dropped off now. We went around, we check our beats because we have some overtime beats out. We ride around, check that. When I was coming here, and he dropped me off here. It's not a car. It's one of my officials that I talked to.
But somebody then picks you up at this bar, right?
It has happened, yes, sir.
The commander goes to the bar during the work week, including a night where you see him getting off the floor after he fell off his bar stool. We have you on video over and over and over again getting picked up at your apartment, brought here. You sit here and drink until 1:30 in the morning, and then a patrol car comes by, picks you up, and takes you to the apartment. How do you explain that? Is it a good way to spend resources?
When they first drive around, check my beats, yes. Coming here at the end of the night, no, that's wrong.
You're not checking any beats.
Earlier, no, I said at the end of the night, it's wrong, sir.
On the night 7 News followed Fitzgerald, his beat was 10 minutes long from his apartment to the bar. Right, so are you going to continue to do it?
No.
Police policy states off-duty officers can't carry a gun when consuming alcohol. 7 News doesn't know if the commander is armed or not when he's drinking. We hear you've been doing it for more than a year.
I can't give you a time frame, but too long.
Fitzgerald was named commander of the 5th District 7 years ago and makes more than $197,000 a year. Why aren't you taking an Uber, Commander?
I do take Uber sometime, but you're right, I was very wrong.
7 News alerted MPD Chief Robert Conti about what we discovered right after our chat with the commander.
This is a really disturbing event.
48 hours later, Fitzgerald was still on active duty on Twitter representing MPD. Chief Conti declined our multiple requests for an on-camera interview and asked us to speak to his assistant chief. 7 News declined the offer to speak to anyone except Conti because he oversees the district's recent surge in violent crime. Conti then had Dustin Sternbeck, his director of communications, release 2 statements to 7 News, the latest. MPD learned that Fitzgerald was the subject of an investigative news story and were advised of his concerning behavior. Internal Affairs has started an investigation. He has submitted his notice of retirement and is now on administrative leave. We're worried about you that you might have an issue with alcohol. We want you to get some help.
I think it's best I don't talk now, but you're right, sir. Thank you.
Okay, good luck. Chief Conti only answered 2 of the 15 questions we asked. So what about all the other questions, including who was driving Commander Fitzgerald back and forth from the bar? Plus, you got to wonder why the chief never took us up on the opportunity to watch our undercover video before we aired it. Believe me, I've got a lot more questions. Scott Taylor, 7 News. Today, we pressed Mayor Bowser to see what was her plan to help end teen violence in the district. Here's what she had to say. Get out of the car. Get out of the car. The 7 News I-Team wants to know what specific tactics D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser is using to combat a recent rash of teen violence. We asked her at a press conference on Wednesday morning. And do you have any specific details on what you're doing to make sure that citizens are protected? Because there has been a rash of teenagers as young as 14 who are armed, who are robbing people.
I'm happy to talk to you about our entire public safety strategy. Yes.
In May, 2 teens arrested and eventually convicted in the death of an Uber Eats driver in an attempted carjacking. Last Friday, 3 teens arrested for tasing a driver in another attempted carjacking. Now, 4 teens arrested in connection to multiple armed robberies overnight, as young as 14 armed and preying on pedestrians. I continue to press the mayor for some answers.
Let me just wrap up for my rude friend here. But I
wasn't
also,
rude, Mayor.
yes,
I was just asking a question, like all the other reporters.
Excuse me, I'm speaking.
Mayor Bowser says D.C. police have been operating a robbery and carjacking task force for several months, including using Metro surveillance cameras. Do you have any message to the teens who are committing these recent violent crimes and also to their parents, Mayor?
I have a message to anybody who commits crime in our city, and that is that the police are going to use every tool at their disposal to find you and hold you accountable.
Today at that press conference, we also heard from the police chief who said they're now using bait cars to help catch the teenage violators. Tonight at 11, we'll take a closer look at that because 5 years ago, they weren't using them. Scott Taylor, 7 News. The I-Team parked our decoy car in a neighborhood that's seen a rash of daylight break-ins in less than 3 hours. We noticed these 2 men walking by our vehicle several times, and then in seconds, they move in. One shatters the window, and another grabs our bag we left on the front seat. We call 911. And as we're giving the details of the crime we just caught on video to the D.C. police officer who responded, this happens. Those are the guys right there. I spot the 2 men driving by who just broke into our decoy vehicle. D.C. police go after them. Police make the stop a block away.
What's going on? Trying to get away from me or something? Nah, because he hit. I don't know which side you guys want me to go.
Are these the same 2 men who moments ago you saw break into our decoy car? Police find our laptop tossed a few feet away, and crime scene investigators pull her bag out from inside the suspect's vehicle. Both men are handcuffed and taken away. So our window is long gone. Monday at 11, we dig deeper. The I-Team investigation continues, and we're going to ask some tough questions, including questioning the D.C. police to find out what exactly they're doing about all these smash and grabs. Live in Northwest D.C., Scott Taylor, ABC 7 News. That's Barry Carey, a lead solid waste inspector for the D.C. Department of Public Works, taking out the trash in front of his house in Maryland. It's Thursday, September 12th at 10:39 a.m. Kerry's timesheet says he's working for the district. Last fall, we found Kerry, the union president of Local 2091, at his home multiple times when his district timesheet says he's at work. Local Union 2091 is part of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees. Kerry reps more than 1,000 union workers at the district's Department of Public Works, DC Cable, and the Department of Water. The district says Kerry is allowed to work full-time on union business. 7 on Your Side wants to know, is Kerry at home working for the union or the district? On Thursday, January 16th, we found Kerry at home again at 10 in the morning. Multiple times in September and in October, we have you on video at your house when you told the district you were working.
Okay, I may have been working from home. I have multiple agencies that I'm responsible for. So I do a lot of telework.
So you do union business from your home?
Sometimes I have to. I have to man my computer and my phone.
According to the district, it can't find any records that gives Kerry the ability to work from home, but it says it doesn't dictate where union business is conducted. After our request for an on-camera interview with Kerry's boss, Public Works Director Chris Geltart, was denied, we tracked him down at City Hall.
The union president has unlimited union time that they can take, and they schedule that with us.
And they're supposed to document that?
They document with us. I have the practice put in place because I made sure it was put in place because, I've only been here 10 months now. The collective bargaining agreement with Kerry's union and the district also requires documentation of union officials' activity on the district's payroll. It says union reps who do union business have to document their time during working hours on an official time report. The district can't find any record of Kerry doing union work last fall from August through October, including when we found him at home. Are you familiar with the collective bargaining agreement?
Absolutely. I helped to write parts of it.
Director Lindsay Maxwell of DC's Office of Labor Relations and Collective Bargaining says union officials are extended the courtesy to have unlimited time to work on union business during working hours, but they need to document it. But if there is no documentation, that would be maybe a violation.
Could
correct?
be. There should be some documentation.
The district never double checks what union officials are doing on the taxpayer's dime.
The expectation is that if they are handling union business, then they're doing that, and if they're not, then they're on their job doing their regular assigned duties.
Public Works Director Chris Geltart told the I-Team in an email, solid waste inspectors are not permitted to conduct their government duties from home based upon the size of his collective bargaining unit, longstanding past precedent, and the terms of the collective bargaining agreement. Mr. Kerry has been permitted to conduct his union functions full-time. Remember, the district doesn't dictate where union business is conducted.
I mean, what are you, a union buster?
Lead solid waste inspectors have the authority to conduct inspections and issue citations, and the other 3 lead inspectors for the district have done that, ranging from 10 citations in the past 2 years to hundreds of citations. The district has no record of Kerry writing any citations for the last 2 years. In the last 2 years, you have no citations, but you're the lead inspector.
I am the president of Ask Me Local 2091.
Hey, DC taxpayers, that means you're paying more than $85,000 a year for a city inspector to do unlimited work for a union. After we started asking tough questions, Public Works Director Geltart sent out this email with a reminder. Union officers are required to track the time spent conducting union business. Geltart says it has come to his attention that the agency, management, and labor have not been strictly adhering to the agreements and adequately tracking union time.
Whether that day, I can't tell you whether that day.
Can you look into it?
He was working on union time for what part
that's
of
the
his
problem.
union.
You don't know what he's doing. That's
what
the
part
problem.
of his union he was working for.
Yeah. We showed the results of our investigation to DC Council member Mary Shea. She's the chair on the council's committee that oversees the Department of Public Works.
We expect to treat our employees fairly, and they're expected to give us a fair day's work for their pay. And so if that's not happening, I want to find out from the director what the answer is, and it may be an appropriate case to refer to our Attorney General.
Kerry eventually kicked us off his property.
I want you off my property.
You would like us to leave?
I said I want you off of my property.
Well, the district says if a union president is not reporting their union time while working, it will address that issue at the negotiating table. Scott Taylor, ABC 7 News.